Hey Noclip, I'm Frank, and to celebrate Summer Games Fest, I drove up to LA to check out The Mix, an indie game showcase hosted by Media Indie Exchange. This was going to be a big in-person event showcasing over 40 upcoming games to the press and public, only things didn't turn out as planned. Just as doors were set to open, everyone got a shocking email. The event has been canceled. I was confused, so I walked up to the venue only to find developers packing up and leaving. What happened? What's everyone going to do? I stuck around to document how the night turned into an odyssey of awesome demos, developers mixing, and a live stream from an office with one of the biggest game collections in the world. This is how the Completionist became the hero of indie games.
My name is Jirard Khalil. This is my office. I am known as the Completionist online on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm here today because I stupidly tried to pull out the ashes that was the meltdown of today to create a live streamable indie event with nothing but duct tape and some string.
I'm one of the founders of The Mix. I'm a game developer, and I throw showcases for indies because as an indie, I know how difficult it is to get discoverability for your games, find press, find publishers, find investors. So when I was younger, starting out, I had a very difficult time doing that. And so we created this event because I was friends with other developers and we were trying to make something possible. So everyone had, opportunities.
We were going to have a 4 or 5 hour attendable show in Los Angeles. People can come play indie games of all different shapes and sizes. We got word from the fire marshal and the police that our permits weren't up to code and nothing was up to standard appropriately. And so they shut us down before we became a public event.
The city said that this particular venue didn't have the permits, which was really sad to me because I felt like I was letting everyone down, even though it was out of our control. We were scrambling to find another venue at the last minute, trying to figure out a way to salvage things. And Jirard was like, hey, how about we do a stream at our office? So we made an announcement. We tried to gather as many folks. We grabbed all the wine, beers, and Coke Zeros, and everybody came here. So, which is awesome because a lot of the developers are going to be able to showcase, or they did showcase, and at least we were able to do something.
I was blown away by everyone's passion and camaraderie. Despite the massive setback, the show was still going to go on in some form. The Completionist hosted the event back at his studio, and as they were prepping the stream, his staff was extremely hospitable, feeding the devs and even giving a guided tour of the space. Devs got excited and lined up for their demo showcase and were cheering each other on. My original intent, to discover upcoming cool indie games, was still being fulfilled. I got to talk to a few devs about some of my personal favorites.
So Antonblast is the story of a little red destruction worker named Anton. He's on a death mission to hell to kill Satan after Satan's stolen his 12 prize spirits. And it's a little bit of like a Wario Land meets Crash Bandicoot flavor. We've got exploration, we've got destruction. At the end of every level, we've got what we call happy hour. We've got to slam a timer and run back to the start before everything explodes. There's also a pretty big cartoon flavor. We're looking at stuff like, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Beavis and Butthead is another one. So it's just kind of this really weird hodgepodge of ideas. And then beyond that, you have your Donkey Kong countries. Should I say Sonic? Will people get mad at me if I say that we like Sonic? I like Sonic CD, but that's my favorite one. We just launched the Dynamite demo on Steam, and it's a fun time. Go play it.
Everyone, we're gonna play a game called Olliefrog Toad Skater. I don't think you have any idea what this game is inspired by at all.
Olliefrog Toad Skater is the amphibious skateboarding game where it's easy to be steezy. It plays a lot like the old Tony Hawk games, but in a fresh, new, cute, flat-shaded, palette-y, Sanrio-friendly, frogginess style to it.
This project started in 2021 and was backed by a successful Kickstarter. I was impressed with how faithful the controls were, and I asked Mr. Thie if he was nervous streaming his game out to a big audience.
It's a little nerve-wracking because I know it kind of helps with I know what people's expectations are going into the game. And so but the first thing that my head was saying was just okay, show off all the features and stuff. And so I'm making sure I've proven to folks who like the Pro Skater series, yeah, I've crossed my T's, dotted my I's.
Another big surprise of the night was Gori, Cuddly Carnage.
Gori, Cuddly, Carnage is basically a third-person cat and slash where you play as the most adorable cat that you've ever seen in a video game, but instead of running around doing cat things, you're riding a murderous hoverboard that is hell-bent on destroying an army of toys gone horribly, horribly wrong. It's kind of a mix of like Devil May Cry, a little bit of Sunset Overdrive, a little bit of Tony Hawk, kind of all thrown together, where it's, you know, all about speed. It's all about aggression, it's all about comboing and moving through levels as kind of fast and stylishly as possible, and a lot of blood. So much blood.
As the night went on, I checked in with our host to see how the morale was.
We might be here all night, but I think morale's pretty high. Everyone's having a good time, and that's all you can really hope for, right? You know, I think developers are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into their projects, and it's just such a shame that people can't see it or get to experience it. So it's the least that I could do to kind of help them out. And the fact that developers who weren't even going to be here for the mix are here to hang out and support. We got the team from Noclip Games just hanging out with us and being supportive. And I think it just goes to show that indie devs truly are family members. Everyone just cares about their projects and they want everyone to succeed.
I also talked to Carlos and Bannon, founders of Video Game Indie Showcase, a local LA collective.
I think everybody's super down. Of course, it's like 1 a.m. already, and it's going to go on for another 2 hours, I think.
Justin was trying his very best to try to salvage something, get another venue, but this was the best choice and probably the easiest choice. Just like, let's just go here. Jirard has a place. Let's at least show these games off to the public and get it out there. And they're having a blast. They're happy to be in this, you know, very nerdy office.
There were a few more games that caught my eye, including Gunbrella, an action-adventure game published by Devolver Digital, which has snappy platforming and cool combat. Slave Zero X, a gorgeous anime-inspired side-scrolling character action game. And Blackout Protocol, a top-down co-op shooter with persistent roguelite elements. As the night went on, I was impressed with everyone's spirits and the strength of the indie games community. Lastly, I asked Jirard what people can do to support indie games.
The biggest thing you can do outside of digitally pre-ordering a game is wishlisting. If you are a YouTube watcher or a Twitch viewer, you'll know things like giving a like, you know, dropping a comment, do a follow, subscribe, donate, that kind of vibe. For indie developers, the same kind of vernacular is acceptable on Steam, where wishlisting essentially lets the algorithm support the developer. So the more wishlists the developer has, the better off they are in the algorithm to get more recommendations. Also, wishlists are a great system to show publishers that indie developers are looking to invest in have a fan base who are eager to get signed with them. So if you are an indie dev with 40,000 wish lists with no publisher, you're looking pretty good without a publisher, and a publisher would come to you and go, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars for funding to get your game made. So the best way to help a developer through and through is to wish list and really just pay attention when the developers are doing stuff, like doing talks, doing events like The Mix and Indiecade, and really indie developers are truly indie. These are people who are team sizes of 1 to 3 to 8 to sometimes 20 people, and they just want their 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes isn't about selling the most copies. It's not about making the most money. It's about being seen for all of the hard work that they've done. And that's the thing that I tried the most to do out of my career, is go to developers and say, hey, I see you, I hear you, your games have value, you have value. And that's the biggest thing that as a watcher, consumptioner of games can kind of, you know, ring home.
The stream went until 3 a.m. and Jirard and company powered through all the games and gave everyone equal opportunity to highlight their work. I left this event feeling inspired to explore new games and share their stories. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Media Indie Exchange, the Completionist, and everyone involved. So next time you see an upcoming game that looks interesting, be sure to wishlist it and tell your friends. Your support means the world.
Jirard, thank you so much, man. You're a hero.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.